Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Exploring Creative Minds podcast. I'm your host, Judah Hooper, and I realized I did not ask how to pronounce your full name, Ella, so I will have you do it so I don't get killed. So today I have the pleasure of speaking with.
Ella Detlefsen.
There you go. There you go. Um, uh, yeah, can you say it again? I want to learn, actually. How to say it.
My two names, because DeLeon is my middle name, so DeLeon,
Got
and then
De Leon.
Detlefsen.
Like, what's the last one?
Detlefsen.
Detlefsen? Did you say?
Yeah,
There you go. Okay.
you got it.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. Well, yeah, I usually start with how you got started to where you are today. So, how did you get started? Um, yeah. No.
I'm back.
Okay. I could hear you, but yeah, it froze again. It's yeah, technical difficulties. No
Yeah,
worries. Uh
but you can hear
am
me
I
already?
frozen to you?
No.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah,
Okay.
you could keep going if you want. It's up to
Okay.
you. You-
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. So
okay.
wait, I don't know if there's like I missed a question or something.
Oh, yeah, I asked if you I asked how you got started in art. Um then yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been drawing since I was a kid. It kind of just
Mhm.
happened, you know, how like all kids just like doodle. I never really
Mhm.
stopped though. And then like I don't know, like throughout like my childhood, especially high school, I feel like that's when I started honing in on like my art and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Like I really got into like practicing how to draw and like kind of being a little more detailed with it. And
Mhm.
I just like kind of taught myself because I was bored and had nothing else to do.
Mhm. Wow. Wow. Okay, so you've been doing it since you were a kid. So what age is that for you? Was that like yeah, young or like 10, 11?
Like three to
Yeah.
four.
Whoa, 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 whoa! What? Three
Yeah.
to four?
Like I was just like
Wait a
doodling.
second.
Like you know how like people just like when a kid's like bored or something, you like hand them a piece of paper, and that's what my parents
Uh
did.
huh. Sure, sure, sure. Three or four is crazy. That's crazy. I don't remember doing anything at three or to four. That's great. That's awesome. Okay, and then you basically did you stick to it as you grew up, or like yeah, how was that process like?
I think that like I did take breaks every now and then. Like I would
Mm,
take like maybe like a year or two off. I remember like in college I went like an entire year without drawing just because like I
mm,
got busy with life, and also I wasn't like so sure that I wanted to be an artist anymore just because like I was having my doubts. Scary time, but I eventually came back to it, so it all turned out to be okay. um, but yeah, I guess like for the most part it was pretty continuous.
mm. Did you grow up in an environment that supported that? Yeah.
I think so. Like I'd say yeah. But I think that overall, like the objective wasn't really for me to become an artist, you know, at least like from my parents' standpoint, you know, I think that they just like kind of viewed it as something that wasn't super profitable. It's not, you know, a very stable career. And like even now, like I work a 9 to 5 on top of my art
Lost
job
you. No.
because art really can't pay the bills, especially if you're living in a
Um,
place like New York. But yeah,
lost
I
you.
like
Uh
I
oh.
know like my dad's like really happy that I'm like doing this now too.
So no sound.
Also, I believe you were frozen.
Yeah, I just lost. I don't think I didn't hear anything. Can you hear me now, though?
Yeah, did you hear anything
Okay.
from that answer?
No. No.
Oh, oh dear.
I heard. I think. What was the last thing I heard? That you know. Yeah. I don't think I heard anything. Really. I heard the. There was a sense of like you like not whether or not you should become an artist from your family, because it's
Yeah.
not like a very lucrative um, choice. So
Yeah, that's
yeah, and
like
then
pretty
you
spot
cut
on.
out.
Like I
Okay.
can just like kind of restate what I said before, but essentially like art was not something that was very heavily supported in terms of like a viable career option, just
Right.
because, like it almost always goes, like art is not a very stable career. It's not one that usually typically brings in, a good income. And I think like what my parents kind of envisioned was like the traditional like 9 to 5, you get your degree and so on. I know like my dad's expressed how happy he is about this as well. I was just talking to him earlier about it, but I know he's like been really supportive of like me actually going off and like pursuing this alongside my 9 to 5. Fun fact, I haven't told my mom yet though, so she has no clue.
Got you. Got you. Wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I think um my parents were similar, I guess, in that way. Where there's this I mean, my environment in general, it was a similar thing where it's like people liked the art, but they're kind of like, all right, like, have a plan B. People always say that. Have a plan
Yeah,
B, have a plan
I
B.
hear that a
Which
lot.
yeah, yeah. They're like, "Oh, that's cool. It's cool," but or like there's this vibe of like they just look at it like it's your hobby, even if you're really, really, really good at it. It's just kind of like, okay, that's a hobby. They don't look at it like that. And so it's I feel like when you're an artist, it's not like it's not a matter of like, um, I don't know how to describe. It's like it's something you're like you have to do. It's something that's inside of you. It's not something that like um it's hard. It's like it's calling you, as pretentious as that might sound to some people. That's the way that I've always kind of seen it. It's like it's calling you. It isn't this kind of thing you're like, okay, I'm going to decide that I like this. You know what I mean? It's not really it's something that you feel it's like inside of you, and you have to get it out.
Yeah, like I 100% agree. Like there are times like in that year in college when I just like
Right.
was not drawing, I did not feel like myself at all. I didn't really feel like doing much, and I think for that period of time I just kind of like lost who I was, and like that could be a really scary thing. But I completely agree with like that statement, like it's in you and you can't really like do anything about that.
Yeah, I completely lost you, but it sounded like a good response. I completely, I completely lost the lost. I didn't hear any of that. I just heard
Does
the
it
very
still
tail end.
record the footage on like both ends or not?
It's like basically I'll hear you for a while and then it'll cut.
Okay.
And then yeah, in terms of your voice, like you're still frozen. I don't know. Um, so but anyways, I don't know. um, what was yeah, but what was this thing you said I didn't hear. So
I
yeah,
completely agree with like your statement about it
yeah.
because like yeah, like in that year that I was just not drawing in college, I did not feel like myself. Like I completely lost who I was, and it was like you kind of like don't realize it until it actually happens, and then you're like, I don't feel like me anymore. And then when I get back into drawing and stuff like that, when I started doing it again pretty consistently, I think that I had a stronger sense of identity as well.
Yeah, it's interesting how it works. It's like if you're a true artist, it really is like it's inside of you. And it's like it's hard to describe that to some people, you know, because I feel like some people they can't disassociate like the I don't know like they associate it with a sense of narcissism, you know,
Sometimes I worry I come off that
you know,
way.
you know what I mean? They're like, oh, look at this guy, he
Like I'll
thinks
be
he's
like,
all
"Oh, I
that.
sell my art to my friends," and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the worst person ever because I'm like, I can't believe I told them I do that.
Yeah, look at Ella. She's an artist.
Ooh,
Okay.
she's so cool.
It's like, yeah, something they do not get it, and it's like it's hard to describe. And so, yeah, I totally understand Ella the feeling of having to get that out. And yeah, I feel like everybody gets to a point where they have to choose that that's what they're going to do with their life. And when was that for you? Was that recently?
Honestly, yeah. I like so as you know, like I work a 9 to 5.
Mm,
I live in New York, so it's kind of necessary. But I'm like a big believer and it's like never too late to pursue your dreams. And like I just turned 22. I feel like I'm like still decently young, I hope. Um
Way too old. Yeah.
but yeah, like I mean, I never even went to art school. I never really pursued it. I really just
Mm,
started taking it seriously this year, so like a few months ago, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. Like, this is what I want to do with my life because I just found that I was like kind of unhappy with the fact that like I had such big dreams as a kid to be an artist, and then I was starting to graduate college, and I was like, I never really did anything with it. Um, and like yeah, that was kind of like where I saw where my life was headed, and I was like, I'm gonna regret it for a very long time if I don't try and pursue it.
mm, right, 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 right. Yeah, and yeah, it's like yeah. I feel like everybody gets to that point. Like every person who chooses to be an artist, it's like you realize okay, it's not something that like you can kind of do, and then like kind of not like there's like a point where you're like okay, like I'm going to choose the life of an artist. No matter where it takes me, I'm going to be smart about my decisions, and I'm going to be responsible, but I am going to choose that life, Um, and so that's awesome that you're doing that. You know, props, props for sure. The what do you call it? I and you have like a very unique process. So explain to me what that is. You know, with your art.
Yeah. So basically, alongside doing art growing up, I also played instruments. I started on the piano, moved to violin later on, and I think because I was so young when I started doing all of those things, I kind of just like learned to intertwine the two. And so like ever since I was little, I feel like I always kind of based my drawings off of music because, I was surrounded by both of them for so long. And for a while I tried to ignore it. I was like, I want to be a realism artist like everybody else, because I saw that's what was popular at the time. And realism art will always be around, but I think that at some point you kind of realize like you're not the type of artist that other people are. Like I could have been a realism artist if I really wanted it, but after a while I just didn't want it enough, and I kind of fell in love with abstract art because I thought that it felt more like something that was coming from me, because it was something that I could really create and it like felt original and it felt true to who I was.
Mm, right, right. Wow, wow. And when did you realize that? Like, did you like start with realism and then worked your way towards more abstract art, or how was that discovery, that epiphany for you?
Yeah, I actually started with realism. So like back when I was like a kid, like I would always just like kind of look at things and try to draw them because I think like having that background in realism really helped just because it gives you a good sense of what things look like and how to interpret them. It allows you to train your eye. I've like said this in one of my past videos on my page where like I basically learned how to draw by watching videos of people painting on the internet, and that really helped me to understand like light and shadow and how those come together to make shapes, and kind of just like being able to draw things without a grid. I hate drawing with grids. It's like my pet peeve because they're so difficult for me.
Lost her
And
again.
yeah, like I guess that's just like how I got into it. And then like I think a few months ago was when I really started taking more risks with my art as well. And that's kind of how my work started to evolve into what it is today.
Mm, interesting. It's like the Picasso arc, basically.
Descend into
uh,
madness. But I think like as like when you start to like lean into the things that you're afraid of, because a big part of why I didn't do abstract art, because I was like in my head, I was like, no one's gonna like my abstract art. No one's gonna want to see it. And like
mm,
ultimately, like that's the stuff that got me attention. Like that is what started like the ball rolling, and like also all of a sudden like sales start coming in, and like I am getting like commission requests, and like my originals are being sold, and I'm selling prints and stuff like that. So it was like such a crazy process that like the thing I was afraid of for so long and like afraid of like being judged for in a negative light, like that's what ended up working for me.
Right. That's amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. It's like when you're true to yourself is like where your answer was for your art. That's really cool. You know. And yeah, it is. Yeah, it's I mean, it's more interesting to like follow like what's inside of you instead of like just emulating something. It's more interesting. Like and that's honestly when you think about a lot of like the artists, it's kind of like the ones that are most remembered now. Like when you think like Van Gogh, Picasso, Goya, those guys are like that's the art. And all those guys knew how to do realism, all of them, and had done it, all of them. But it's like a very similar thing, you know. Um, and yeah, do you have a favorite artist for of the classic, you know, famous ones?
Um, she's like definitely more new, but her name's Lena Danya, and I think
Mm.
it's because she just holds a very like near and dear place in my heart because she's actually who I learned to paint from. She paints realism and she has YouTube videos. She's been around for like a very long time. And I just remember like being a kid and being like, I want to be exactly like her. Um, and so like I just started watching her videos all the time and I would try to do the things that she would do. And I honestly don't think I would ever compare in terms of realism because her pieces are like absolutely amazing. But
Right.
she definitely had like a huge influence on who I am today in terms of being an artist.
Wow, wow. Yeah, wow. So I got to check her out. What's her name again?
Lena Danya.
Lena Danya. I'm gonna write that down. Lena Danya. That's and you use you do like pencil related art, right?
Yeah.
Or do you? Yeah, got it, got it. Um, got you. Yeah, it's really cool. Like yeah, it's your art is it's very unique. Like it's like it's I've never seen anything like it before, honestly. Um, and it's it's really interesting how it's like almost like it's like art at its purest form. It's like a progression of it's like a progression of moods and
You cut
feelings.
out for a little
You know.
bit.
Oh. No.
I did not hear that last question.
Got you. Got you. What was the last thing? I said your art is like art at its purest form.
Oh
Really,
my god,
which is
thank
like
you.
it really is. It's like a progression of moods and feelings. You know, like and yeah, it definitely is. It's beautiful. And yeah, don't you said you do you like you listen to music for art inspiration for art? Like, yeah, tell me a little bit about that and how that started.
Yeah, so like I said, like I think I've been doing this since I was a kid. It's just I was kind of not really paying attention to it. But I think like recently, more like my last like year of college when I was just like rethinking everything and I was like, damn, like I never pursued art the way that I thought I would. And it was that time where I was just like, I told myself as a kid, I always said that I was becoming an artist, and then I didn't do anything about it. So then I woke up one day and I was like, I'm gonna do something about it. And I kind of always I feel like I'm like a unique music listener in a non-narcissistic way, but just like whenever I listen to a song, I always like kind of had imagery in my head of what I thought it would look like. And then I just started putting like pencil to paper and it just started working. And I think like the big thing is that like whenever I listen to songs, because I'm also like a very emotional person, like it's just like the feeling that you get in the song, and like I feel like I'm someone who's very susceptible to that, and I turn that into imagery because like for some reason it's just like it makes sense in my head. I really don't know how to explain it otherwise, but like it's just like however a song makes a person feel, like the colors and the shapes and the imagery, like that is just what goes to my head, and then I just create an image, and it's kind of just like copying it straight off. Like it's like I'm almost looking at an image and I'm drawing that.
Wow. So you do you see an image in your head, like a complete image as you're listening to it, or yeah.
that image can like also evolve. Like I think like sometimes if I'm like really focused on like one phrase of a song, that kind of, you know, takes over and that becomes like the pinpoint of the piece. But like the more I listen to it and I kind of like get in the flow of things, I really like to listen to a song like a few times before I come to a solid idea. Because like of course like everyone has off days. Sometimes I like listen to music and I'm like, I don't really think this like looks right in my head. So then I just like keep listening and I kind of like I analyze the song a little bit sometimes depending on what it is. Whether it's like researching like the lyrics or like maybe just listening to the isolated instrumentals to like try and find out a better way to create like a good image, because just because an image pops into my head doesn't mean that it's an image that's going to translate well into an actual finalized art piece.
Can you say that last part again? You cut out.
What was the
Or
last part you heard?
uh, um, so it was cutting out for I think oh my gosh, come on, Judah. What was the last part? So the last part, yeah, I didn't hear like the majority of it.
That's
For this
okay.
one.
I can
Um,
repeat myself.
okay, okay.
Um, so basically, like the whole thing with that was like I feel like the way that it translates into my head from like listening to a piece of music, I try
Mm,
to capture like the feelings associated with it and like however that song makes me feel, like in terms of
mm,
like shapes, colors, and just like overall imagery and composition of the piece. That
right.
is what I'm putting onto the canvas. And like for me,
Got
like
you.
sometimes I do have to listen to it a few times. Sometimes I have to like analyze the song, pick it apart, look at the meaning of it,
Mm,
listen to like isolated vocals, isolated instrumentals, and that kind of helps shape an image that is going to translate better into a finalized piece. Because like sometimes I just like listen to a song and I'm like, this is not going to make a good piece of art. Like it's either like too complex, not complex enough. So like, I really like to
mm,
like take the time to really dissect and listen to the music, because again, like I'm not really just going off of sound. I try to go off of the meaning behind whatever the piece of music is.
wow. That's so interesting. Yeah, it's almost like it's like have you seen Fantasia?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like that, but like on steroids kind of thing. Like it's like when Walt Disney made that film, the idea was like making animation based off of what he was feeling with music, um, and so it's very interesting um, to know somebody who actually does that. That's crazy. It's like when was the first time you did it? Like, yeah, what was the first time?
I'd say when I was like a kid, like probably in like not my tweens, if that makes sense.
Mm, yeah, okay, sure,
It
sure.
wasn't as refined as it is today, but you
Right.
know, it was my first go. Things don't always come out perfect the first time you do them.
Oh yeah, never, never. What is perfection? What even is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, I kind of sometimes I just look at a piece or most of my pieces and I don't like them.
Mm. It's yeah. I mean, how objective can you be with your art? It's like if I watch like I can't like go back and like watch a movie I made. Like I can't like without thinking about the experience of making it. You know what I mean? Can are you? Do you feel like you could be objective of your art?
You cut out, unfortunately.
I cut out. Is that what you said? I cut out. No.
You cut out
Okay.
after the word
Um.
objective.
Object. Yeah. Do you feel like you could be objective over your art? Because I feel like I can't like go back. I can't go back and like listen to a song I made or like a short film and not think about like the experience of making it. You know what I mean? You can't like enjoy it in the same way that someone else can. You know what I mean? Like, do
Yeah.
you feel that way with your
Oh,
art? It's
100%.
like,
Like,
yeah,
I sometimes make a piece and I'm like, this sucks. And then it's actually like really well received.
right,
Um,
yeah,
like, I would like my first piece that kind of like what gave me most of my traction was called Spectre, and it was
Mm-hmm.
based off the Radiohead song Spectre. Um, and to be honest, I didn't like it at
Good
first.
one.
I was like, this
Mm-hmm.
looks so bad, and people loved it, and that was like a really crazy experience for me. And something I like ended up hearing later on was you don't like your art because it looks like you made it, and I feel like that cannot be more true, because I just like I look at the pieces that I make and I'm like I can tell I made this, and like sometimes that just like translate to a bad thing in your head, because like I feel like everyone's like their biggest critic, especially in the art world. Like I'm sure you're the same way with your films. It's like you look back on it and you're like, oh my god, I could have changed this thing, I could have done this better. But like I feel like the thing that people really come to love about, the things that creative people make are ultimately like the imperfections that really show the person behind whoever made, the art, the film, the music.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. It's like impossible to be objective because yeah, you are your own worst enemy. That's a great way to put it. Oh, for sure. That's like it's true. You know. And yeah, it's like you don't know what people are gonna connect to. It's almost like when you think you're like really good as when it's bad. Almost like it's like you know. It's weird how it works that way. You know.
Yeah.
Um.
I'm so sorry if you can hear the car honking. I do live in New York now.
I'm walking here. That's all I hear. Literally.
And the thing is, my windows are
Literally.
closed too.
That's crazy. Yeah, New York. Are you like in the city of New York?
I'm like straight up
Like
in
New
the
York, New
city.
York?
Yeah, like New York, New York.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Wow. Um, where were we? I forgot. Lost my train of thought. We were talking about how being your worst critic as an artist. That's what you're talking about. Which is yeah, that's a real thing. It is. Yeah, it's like it's hard to be objective. You know, it's like about it. Um, are you still there? Testing. Did
I
I
can
cut
hear
out again?
you, sort of.
Hello.
Can you say that question again if you
Uh
said
oh.
a question?
Sort of. Did I say? I think I was reiterating. I think. What do you call it? Yeah, we were talking about being your worst critic as an
Yeah, for
artist.
sure.
Um, which is that's a real thing. I think it is like it really is a cool experience when someone says like either like they've been touched by something you've done. Like it is like it's just it's a you know it's a weird feeling. You know, you don't know how to respond to it. I guess it's
Yeah. I'm like always so used to like, or like
you're
I'm
just like
I'm used to
thanks.
people not having a reaction to my pieces growing up. Like I don't know, I
Right.
feel like the people around
right.
me
Right.
were just like so used to me drawing all the time, and they just like whenever I would
Mm.
like create things, like especially like my Spectre piece, I think people were more confused rather than intrigued by it.
sure. Sure.
So when I like uploaded it to the internet, and then all of a sudden I was getting really good feedback on it, I was like, "Are you guys crazy or what?
you're like you're this art piece here.
Like, are you sure?"
Yeah.
Like,
Is your camera working okay?
yeah, my
Yeah.
camera's
Yeah.
working.
yeah. Got you. Okay. Cool. What do you call it? Yeah. It's an interesting experience. The being an artist. I think if it feels like I feel like in the age of AI, it is like it's cumbersome, I guess, in a way. You're kind of, you know, I mean, how do you feel about like AI in this day and age? How that's gonna affect artists in general?
To be
Um,
honest,
yeah.
it really does worry me. Especially as like an artist who gets accused of being or like utilizing AI all the time, just because like a lot of people are like your art doesn't really make sense. Like that has to be AI generated or something. Um, and so like I think it just makes me worried because AI is getting so realistic that at times it could be hard for people, even artists, like even myself, to discern what was made by a person and what wasn't.
Yeah, and it's getting more and more accurate to that in a way. And then there's like the existential question of like, oh, it's just regurgitating, you know, information in its head, you know, in its coding, and it's like, oh, you could argue that like that's kind of what humans do, you know. So it's kind of like that's where it becomes super existential. You
Yeah,
know, I feel
totally.
like AI doesn't have emotion, you know. Um, yeah, you know, it doesn't. Yeah, AI doesn't have like it can't feel, you know. AI doesn't have like trauma, you know, or
Yeah, I feel like
it doesn't have like a visceral reaction to anything,
I
you
think at
know.
times it does look kind of soulless though. So like it has its limits
Yeah.
clearly.
Yeah, exactly. There's no soul. That's a great, like, you know. There's not. It doesn't have experience, you know. Um, and so maybe it'll get better at like recreating that in a way. It's like I feel like there will be a certain type of art that will die probably, and I would say that's like the art where it literally is just emulation. You know, that kind of stuff won't be as like special. Like, okay, I'm recreating the Mona Lisa, sort of thing. You know, that kind of art won't be like profitable anymore, really, unless they're doing something to add to it. You know what I mean? Um, that's the kind of art I could see going away. The art where they are just emulating some other, you know, Da Vinci or something. You know?
Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
think in, in hindsight, it's probably better that I moved away from realism just because I think it would be so hard to differentiate myself if that's what I was doing.
Mm, yeah. Yeah. Of course. And art's all about expressing yourself. You know. So you know, it's like I mean, you know you start by the emulation and the imitation, so you kind of learn the basics of the craft. But you know, at a certain point, you're like, okay, I'm going to use these tools to express what I have to say. You know, that's like, and I feel like you have to come to that point at some point, and AI is not going to do that. You
Yeah.
know,
And I
ultimately.
think like speaking to that point, like I used to think that I didn't really have anything to say. And I think like I was a pretty quiet kid growing up. And then like the older I got, the more I was like, you know what, like never mind. Like I do have something to say. I have something to convey here. And I think that's why I kind of started to allow myself to be more expressive with my art because I kind of realized like even like in my realism phase, I think I wasn't creating art for myself truly. I think I was creating it for other people because I thought, like if I have artistic skill, this is what people are going to appreciate. And I wasn't really thinking of like what art would truly represent me as a person and would convey what
Mm.
I want to say.
Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean by that. I feel yeah, growing up as a kid, you have a lot of pressure, you know? You feel a lot of pressure as a kid. I don't know why, you just do, you know? There's this you know, there's like what your parents expect you to be, it's what the people how people in school perceive you and then, you know, um you have a lot um put on you, you know? And did I cut out again or no?
You cut out again.
Okay. Yeah. Um, copy. What was the last thing you heard, Ella?
Your parents' expectations.
There you go. Yeah. I would say yes. Expectations in general as a kid are like you feel it a lot. You don't really like you don't realize it, but it's like you feel it. Like okay, there's a lot of like you're expected to do well in school and you know do this and do that. You know you and then there's like the whole social element of finding your social group of friends as a kid and like, and then obviously there's changing through adolescence, and like you're experiencing all this stuff, um, and you feel the pressure a lot, you know, as a kid to be something, but you don't know what that is, or it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel that today. I think at
Of course,
22,
right.
I'm not that knowledgeable, and
Well, of course, right, right.
I'm still figuring out who it is I want to be as an artist, and like
Mm.
my art's going to change so much in like the next like 2 3 years even, and like I feel like in the short time that I've kind of been consistently practicing like these larger, more complex abstract pieces, like my art has definitely like evolved pretty quickly, just because I feel like I'm really just starting to lean into being able to express things. And I think when you really, kind of nurture that, I think your art really kind of like goes to a different level. And I have so much to learn still, and I have so much to practice. So
Right, right. That's a yeah, very humble response right there. It's true though. No, it's yeah, it's I think are you afraid of getting pigeonholed? That's something I'm very afraid of, Ella. I'm not gonna lie. Is like you are good at something, and then there's a point where you want to move forward past it, but like you can't get any work doing anything else because they see you as this one thing. You know, um, that's something that I'm afraid of.
yeah, I am terribly afraid of that too. Keeps me up at night.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But like actually, yeah, like after my first piece, or like the first piece that I really kind of like got noticed for on social media, Spectre, I was so scared that the next video I posted would not do well and that everyone would forget about me, because that wouldn't be the first time that's happened. Like I was on social media when I was a kid too, posting my little drawings. And like,
What?
albeit like they weren't that like important thing is being able to push back those feelings
Mm.
and just keep creating art regardless, because I think that everyone is always going to be faced with that. And like it's just very important to remember like why you're creating art, and it's not for other people necessarily, it's because you have something to express. And I think that, like having this whole like art community, like I'm like so incredibly like grateful for like the art community that I've like started to, kind of hone in, like the amazing people that I've been able to meet through, posting on social media and stuff like that, much like yourself. um and it's like, again, like that is always a fear that I have, but at the end of the day, like whether or not I have a platform, I'm always going to be creating art.
Mm. Yeah, it's something you have to do, you know, and yeah, it really is like I've said this 1,000 times. I feel like it's the biggest thing that separates us from like other creatures in a sense. Is like the way that we can express ourselves through art. Like other creatures don't really do that, really. Um, it's like it's not about like survival instincts. Like
Yeah.
it's something else. It's something else, and we're the only creatures that can really do it to that level. Like a monkey cannot make like a film. Like you know, you know, um, or an Ella style painting. They cannot do that.
I hope not. Then I'll be
That'd
out
be
of business.
crazy. Can you imagine that? It's like, ha! It
I'll get a
doesn't work.
run for my money.
That'd be crazy. It's yeah, it's interesting. And when you think about like in the world, like in history, there's like two things that you really learn about, and that's war and art. You know, those are like the two things you really learn in history. When you're learning about a culture, you're learning about a time, and I think there's something to that. You know, there is something to that, and I don't think AI is gonna take that away necessarily. It's like, you know, um, there's something special about it. I think we do live in an age where the way that people consume art has changed for sure. You know, but that's nothing new. You know, the idea of people consuming it differently, finding it in a different way. That's not anything new. I don't think that's anything to be scared of necessarily. You know.
Yeah. I
Um,
think that like social media has done artists like a great service and also disservice at the same
mm,
time, just because I think that people have begun to think that art can be made very, very quickly. And I also like, I honestly have to pursue content creation because that's a big part of success of being an artist nowadays. So that's like a really important component of it. But I think it kind of makes a lot of people think that
mm.
creating is like a really fast process when it's like far from it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not. Not to create anything like we're seeing. It takes a lot mentally out of you to create a piece of art. It just does. You know. Um, and you feel like you're giving like pieces of your heart away or something. It's almost like how to describe it in a sense. Um, it's 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 just like it's such like a unique feeling, you know. Um, and yeah, I'm curious what you're gonna make at like 42. You know, like I'm curious what will that look like. you know.
Yeah, I'm honestly pretty excited to see the evolution of my art, especially in like such a different environment too than I'm used to. Like
mm,
my art business, I guess, primarily started out of my college apartment in Maryland.
mm.
And so, like, I was just kind of sitting by myself and I wasn't really going out that much. I kind of just really focused on my art because I was like, you know what? I have nothing better to do. What am I going to do? Study for my exams? Which I was
nah.
definitely not doing. Because it was my senior year. I was like, it's fine.
Mm.
But like New York is obviously a very great place to be an artist.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And like I'm so incredibly lucky to be here at this age too, which is like insane to me still. Like that was always
Mm.
the goal when I was a kid. Like I was like, for some reason, I was just like, I really want to live in New York City, because you know who doesn't.
Yeah. Sure.
But
Sure.
like
Sure.
so far, like it's definitely had its ups and downs already in the
Mm.
3 weeks that I've been here. Um, but like I can't wait for like the future in terms of like the people that I meet and the art that I get to see while I'm here.
Right. It's a beautiful place for that. Yeah, there's a lot of artists there. I think it's in a way that I guess that's why I moved to LA, you know. Was for I needed to be in an environment with more art, I guess, cuz I feel like I grew up in an area where I don't know, there really wasn't anybody like that took that seriously. You know what I mean? Um so that was definitely I understand that. That's definitely I feel like an important um component is that you want to be in an environment where you can meet other people that in a way understand where you're coming from and what you're doing, where you're not just like a crazy person, you know. you know. Um did I cut out again? I feel like I did.
Yeah, I heard up until crazy person.
Ah, perfect. Perfect. What do you Yeah, it's like it's important to be in an environment where you're getting some form of reception, and connection, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Otherwise, I feel like you would go crazy as an artist, just like anybody. You'd go crazy if you don't have like
Yeah. No,
something,
I'm not gonna lie.
you know.
Like sometimes I like draw for so long that I'm just like sitting there and I'm like, I don't even know what I've been doing for the past like 4 hours. like there's beauty in madness, and I definitely think like at times I'm just like splitting my brain over drawing
Mm.
because I'll be drawing something and I'll be like, it looks like I did nothing. Meanwhile, like half the page is filled out from when I started. But like, yeah, like there's definitely like an element of chaos into making good
Oh
art.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And like sometimes that means like having a really shitty day and then putting on like the worst depressing music you could ever find. And then all of a sudden you have like a great piece.
Right. Right. You put on some Linkin Park or something. You're like, you know.
Just like crying, like bawling my eyes out while I'm drawing.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally. I get that. It sounds like art. There's a sense of like art. There's a sense of coping there. I say that because I have the same thing. Of like it was almost a way that I processed my emotions in a way was specifically through music actually. Because like yeah, you said you play what piano? What else you play?
Violin.
And violin. Ooh, that's a fancy one. Dang. Okay. Yeah, my dad used to play violin. That's like a cool instrument. What's harder, piano or violin?
I would probably say violin.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. The violin is so like alien to me. I don't know. I've
The
tried
violin,
it,
because like
but yeah, it's alien.
the piano, you got like you have keys, so it's
Yeah,
like you have a little bit of fallback. But with a violin, like the way your hand is positioned is so important that it's even off like a little bit, it's not gonna sound right.
yeah. That's what I've never understood about it. It's like you have no frets. It's just the string, and that's it. It's just the
It's just
strings.
knowing.
So then, yeah, you just have to like. That's why whenever you hear like a young violinist, like a kid, it's always like a little off. It's like because they're
Sometimes I still
literally.
sound like that. So
Right, right. So do you still play?
yeah, I still
No.
I mean, maybe I'll have like kind of like another revelation the same way I did as art and try to become a violinist. I don't know.
Mm. Maybe, maybe.
Maybe.
Uh, it's yeah, that's like a cool one. Like I play all of the main like rock instruments, so it's like it's not as cool as the violin, but
Oh my god,
also
wait, which ones?
I play electric guitar and keyboard and drums and bass and
That's sick. You could be your own band.
yeah, yeah, I've never done that. Yeah, I have a band. Yeah, I've never done that. I like try to do
What's
my
it
own
called?
thing. The dudes.
The
It's like
Dudes. You're gonna have to
yeah.
send me a link.
Uh-oh. You're like
I
this is
will be giving
trash.
it a listen.
It's like my favorite style is like the prog rock style. That's kind of like my
Yeah,
favorite. That's like so that's kind of the direction I'm trying to get us in, like the sort of Pink Floyd Echoes, Dogs, Time kind of
I love
style.
that. Oh my
You know
gosh. No,
that.
I'm totally gonna listen to your guys' music.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. um, yeah, I'll send you something. Yeah, it's really we have like a really cool concept I think you would like that we're
Okay.
working on currently. So it's yeah, it's yeah, it's like for piano. Were you classically trained for piano or
Yes.
okay, got it. Yes. So was that like a family expectation kind of thing, like you're going to learn an instrument kind of thing, or was that something you wanted to do and then they got you lessons or?
I think that the piano was more of something my mom wanted, and then I veered into the violin because in the third grade I was like, I want to play the violin, and
Mm,
so I kind of went down that road. So I have like a background in classical music, but I think my favorite genre is definitely like alternative or rock.
mm, mm, mm. Yeah, Radiohead kind of thing. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, those. Yeah, that I love. Yeah, like alternative. rock, prog, rock. That's like the. It's a genre you wish was done more. You know, like a lot of what you listen to is more of like stuff that's been done. You know, but it's like not a lot of people are doing that kind of music in like the mainstream spectrum of music. You know, but there's a lot of cool small bands that
Yeah,
that do that.
like the
Still.
dudes.
Oh God. Except for that one. Yeah, that one we could. Yeah. The it's but yeah, I love music. I think music is talk about a piece of art that's never gonna be replaced by AI or go away. It's music for sure. You know, people still love concerts and um all that stuff. Yeah, people still love listening to artists and yeah, it's did I cut out again or no?
Yeah, you did.
I knew it. I always can sense when I cut out. I sense it. What's the last thing you heard?
Um, honestly, not much.
Got it. Got it. Got it. The what did I say? I said music is never gonna go away. You know, it's interesting how like music seems to be the biggest form of art that like people still really, really, really like. You know, and
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's not like okay, movie theaters they're dying, you know, that kind of thing. There's like a lot of things like that, you know, but
speak for
like
yourself. I love movie theaters.
hey, I love them too. I you know, I yes, I love them, but they are dying, you know, like you know, it's like it's people only go for like a few movies a year now, basically, you know. But no, don't get me wrong, I love them myself. It's like it's I just wish, you know, like with music, it's like, you know, people sell out concerts, right?
Yeah,
You know, pretty easily. Or it's even like as a person who does both, I would say like it's way easier to get someone to come to a concert than to come to like a movie theater showing for something, for sure.
yeah, for
Like
sure.
way easier. Like, oh, I just have to, you know, I guess maybe it's not as much of a commitment in a way. And you know, there's like they can get drinks and stuff if it's like a music show. But it is like yeah, it's such like a special thing. Like I don't. It's interesting how you know we can't explain why we connect to art, why we connect to like this, and why is it important? You know, like there's no like logical scientific reason why it's important. You know, like you know why why does this song give you that feeling? Why is when you listen to I don't know everything in its right place? Like why does that song give you a feeling? You know, but it's just like two chords the whole song basically. You know, it's just like C to like the augmented. But like for some reason, even though you know that, like it gives you like a emotional experience. You know.
Yeah, like sometimes when I'm in a great mood, I'll put that song on if I need art
Yeah.
inspiration.
You're
Does
like
it
finally.
ruin my day a little bit? Yeah, but it works.
Yeah, it's such a yeah, exactly. It's like it's I guess it's so interesting how life has like an element of like enigma, you know? There's just like like you can't really explain why we need it and why we connect to it. It's just you just do,
Yeah.
and it's one of the most beautiful aspects to being alive, you know. Um I cut out, and cut out. Boom. Testing. Hello.
Hi, I can
Hi.
hear you now.
Beautiful. The here's a very existential question. Um, what is the meaning of life? I'm just kidding. No, that's not the question. Uh, you know, what do you hope to accomplish by the end of your life?
Oh my god.
That I told you it's existential.
You're right. You're right. To be honest, I just really want to make an impact on the way that art is created.
Mm.
it might be a little narcissistic. I do want to be remembered. If anything,
Yep.
I like,
Of course.
I think like the most rewarding part about being an artist, in the short time that I've really kind of been profiting off of it, it's not even like the money. It's just the fact that I like, not to sound narcissistic, but like in a way, I've started to matter to people, not because of like anything, I guess, like about my maybe my personality a little bit, I guess, but like in the things that I create, like the things that I make, people will like DM me and they'll be like, wow, like you got me back into drawing again. You made me like fall in love with art again. And, it's like something that I was like so distant from. And like when I talk about like my process or, how I came to like start making the kind of art that I do, like people tell me they've been like inspired to start creating again, whether it's like drawing or making music or, like making clothes, things like that. And it's just like so rewarding because I never thought I would have that kind of impact. Like there was like so many points in my life where I was just like, no one's gonna care about my art. And like I think that's a really, like shitty thing to feel as an artist because it's like, wow, like I'm making all these things and it's almost like no one cares. And even though like the point of art is to make something for yourself, it still kind of sucks when you are like putting things out there and it's not getting any attention because it's like you want to be able to share that with people, you want that community. And like growing up, I don't think I really had like an art community to fall back on. So it's like now that I have a social media platform and I've been able to meet so many people, it's just like it's so amazing to just be able to talk to people and like they tell me how much like my art has impacted their life and it's so surreal and it's something that I never imagined would happen in my lifetime.
Mm, mm.
That's a really long-winded answer. I'm so sorry.
That's a beautiful answer. Yeah, I mean, it's a very, it's an existential question. So, yeah, it makes sense. I think, yeah, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be remembered. There's nothing. Yeah. Sure, it can sound pretentious. You know what I mean? But it's like, there's nothing wrong with wanting that. I mean, you know, I think wanting to have an impact is a beautiful thing, and you know, you've already started to have one, so it's pretty cool. Um,
The last word I heard was pretentious.
Good to know. Good to know.
Glad
It's
to know
always
what you
something
think of
bad.
me.
Yeah, yeah. People could think it's pretentious to be remembered, to want to be remembered,
It
but
is a
it's like,
little bit. Like I'll be so
yeah,
honest. Like I think it is, it's up there, but I think
it's up there.
you also kind of have to be shameless about it. I think that something I notice about a lot of people who become successful is they're honestly shameless
Confidence.
about promoting themselves. They're shameless about doing what they
Mm,
want and you definitely like have
yeah,
to learn how to do that if you want to like become successful.
yeah. You have to have an element of confidence. I had I had Panda Express the other day, and I got this. I was like, not a coincidence. That says proceed with confidence. And I was like, what? And I was thinking about that.
Panda
Oh wow,
Express knows
that was yesterday. That was yesterday.
it's a sign, but like it's honestly so true. I'm the kind of person who
Yeah.
like takes little things and I'm like, it's a sign. So
Right.
like it's honestly
Well.
so true. Like I think the main difference between like my past like I guess attempts to become an artist versus recently was the fact that I became more confident in what I was creating. And I think that like when
Mm-hmm.
people see that, you're confident about your own art and like whatever you're putting out, they're also gonna, it's kind of just like you are what you think you are. So it's like you have to adapt that
Mm.
mentality even if you're faking it for a little bit.
Yeah, it's true. It's just true. It's reality. You know. It's Yeah. It's Yeah. People like that. I mean, they like. You have to like believe that you can do it first. Like if you never believed that you could do it, then you would have never done it. You know. even if there's like an element of doubt and self-deprecation in there, like I, you know, you have to take the first step, you know, otherwise it will never happen, you know. And a lot of people don't take that step, you know. Um,
Yeah, like I think especially like at the end of the day, I like see like TikToks about this all the time. I got to get off that app. Um,
yeah.
but it's always talking about like you're the only person who could really change your life. And
Mm,
like it's like that one day when I woke up and I was like, I need to be an artist, you know? Like
mm,
I was the only one who could really ever do anything about that. It's like no
mm,
one can make me an artist but myself. And it's like you do have to
mm.
like push past the doubts. And like I have like, you know, getting the ball rolling is one thing, but again, like I still have so far to go in my career as an artist. Like
Yeah.
I'm just getting started.
Mm.
And you know, like I always work through those doubts. Like there's always doubts in my mind about my future. It's a scary thing, but at the end of the day, like I have to see it through.
Yeah. Yeah. It's there's yeah, there's an element to life that you don't understand, you know? It's just it's and I've you know how you like as a kid you think that's going to go away. That never does. It seems like.
Yeah.
You know, like, you think there's going to be a point where okay, I have done everything, you know? And now I understand life and I'm ahead of it and you know, this is who I am. You know, cuz when you see adults, that's how you perceive them. You know, like your teacher, your school teacher, you know, your dentist, you know, whatever. You just they're that thing, you know. So you don't think like oh like there's no they're thinking that way too, you know. They're just not showing that to you, you know. Um,
Yeah. I think it's like
you know.
it's so surprising because I also noticed that like there's such a different in mentality. Like for some people, you know, like being an artist or being a musician, like that's just like not something they want to do. And it's like it's just so crazy to me that some people don't want to pursue creative fields.
Mm,
But again, like I guess like maybe some people would look at me and be like, why does she want to be an artist? Even though like, you know, like there's like the doctors
yeah.
and the lawyers of the world and they were like, oh, I would never get it. But like it's just like such a weird thing to like I don't know, not be understood by like everyone. Like sometimes people just like can't see it. Like they can't see the
Mm.
reasoning why you would want something so badly.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's well, it's almost like I think a big part of that is conditioning in society too. It's like you're expected to basically just live to make money and die. You know, when you think about it, like um, in society, you know,
Yeah.
and so it's almost like obviously they would you know never say that, but it's like when you think about it, it's like okay, so it's just about like okay, making enough money so you can retire and be comfortable and then die, sort of thing. That's like that's kind of what you're expected to do, and so I guess people don't understand. Okay, why would Ella spend her time like why would she spend like 10 hours working on an art piece? You know, like what's the point of that? You know, how is it getting you towards the goal of retirement? You know, kind of thing. You know, um, that kind of thing. It's like I feel like it's a conditioning that starts when you're like in school, like a kid in like elementary school. The sense of like, okay, um, it's the older you get, um, the more conditioning becomes a part. Broke up again, huh?
Yeah. But I heard most of it this time.
What was the last thing? Something good.
Conditioning about school.
There you go. It's it. Yeah. The older you get, the more it's about conditioning in school. Like in the beginning, in kindergarten, there's a lot of art stuff. There's finger painting. You learn like this different, you know, these things. There's like puzzles, you know, and all this. And then like as you get old, it's more and more about conditioning the brain to think and act and expect a certain thing. You know, sort of thing.
Yeah. Like I completely agree. Like money is essential to life. That's why I have a day job. But
It's important.
at the end of the
Yes.
day,
Same.
like I think the thing that really keeps me going is the fact that I create art. Like that is 100% like why I'm here today.
Mm.
Um, and like I like not everyone's gonna get that, and then like that's okay. Not everyone will. Some people are like perfectly content with like just having a day job, but for me, it's like
Right.
I
Right.
I just like I need that something more in my life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. How pretentious of you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. It's like, yeah, and I completely understand. It's hard to describe, yeah, but like I said, I feel like a lot of people like when they're really young, like are interested more in creative things, and then like it's like a conditioning, like you kind of, a lot of people just let it go. I mean, how many failed artists have you met, you know, where it's like, maybe that's harsh to say, but like people are like, oh, I used to draw, but then I gave it up, and I grew up kind of vibe, or they have like, oh, I was interested in films, but then I had to accept reality, and so now I'm doing this. I've heard that so much, you know, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
same.
oh, I used to be you, basically, is what they're saying. You're like, okay, how am I supposed to respond to that? You know?
Right? I'm like, 'cause, like it's always so weird when it's like you tell people about it. Like I bet you tell like people you make music, and then like I tell people I make art, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, I used to do that too." And then I stopped because it wasn't making me enough money. Like I just like it's like such a weird response because like people have said that to me before where they're like, "Oh my god, I used to draw so much," you know, and then I got a reality check.
You're like,
I'm
what
like,
was
I don't
that
know how I'm supposed
exactly?
to take that.
Yeah, exactly. Are you telling me that? Oh, one day, it's almost like they're like, one day you'll grow up, kind of
Yeah.
vibe,
I'm like, I'm
and it's,
22, so I don't know about that, but
you know, yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's cynicism is like very, I don't know. I hate it. It's like a big thing with a lot of people. Not everybody, but I feel like it's like this cynical thing where it's like, oh yeah, you're so naive to think like that you could be an artist, sort of thing. Um, yeah.
I heard until cynicism.
Ah, yeah. It's cynicism is a big thing. uh it's like this sense of like, it's almost like they think you're naive for even wanting to be an artist,
Yeah.
it's kind of thing. It's almost, it's a little patronizing, what I mean? Like the person that said that to you, it feels a little patronizing, just like low key, kind of like, like, oh, it's like, you know that's that's how, I guess, that's what you think about, like, that's how every artist has felt, though, like every artist that has made it, whatever that means. Like they felt the same way. When Walt Disney made his company, it took him 8 years to like make any money off of it, but he loved doing it. He loved the characters he was making. And so in spite of like being in a family that didn't really support it, being in a world that didn't really understand it, he kept it going in it. And it's like it's something that was inside of him, that he believed in, So it's like I'm sure that he got that 1,000 times. Like, oh yeah, I used to try to draw characters, animated characters. Like, that's cool, bro. I used to do that, But then I had to grow up, You're like, okay, like, have a good day. I don't know. How do you respond to that? Yeah, that it's, yeah, he's a big inspiration for sure. I mentioned him like
Yeah.
a bajillion times. That he what he did for art was a big deal, like so yeah, I think about what Walt Disney especially the first like 10 years of Disney, where it was like, this is, Snow White was the first animated feature film, you know and they revolutionized a lot, Mickey Mouse is the first cartoon with sound, you know Fantasia was the first nonlinear story, you know, sort of thing. So Yeah, big inspiration. What's your favorite Disney movie? One.
Um, Shoot, probably either Tangled or
Mm,
Princess and the Frog.
what? I was not expecting that. But that makes sense, in our age group, like, because I'm sure you saw those movies. Like, did you see them when they came out, basically, or
Yeah, I
around
did.
the time?
Those
Yeah,
two have like a chokehold on me. I'm not gonna lie. I love rewatching them.
yeah, it's like a nostalgic thing. It makes sense. Like I said, was in our age group, early 20s.
Yeah.
It's like those are the ones that came out that were really good. You know, interesting. Tangled. That's my
What are
little
your
sister's here.
favorites?
Um, hmm. I think as a kid it was um Peter Pan was my favorite. Did
You,
you hear that or no?
I did not
Of
hear them.
course. Maybe that's a good thing. No, I'm just kidding. the Peter Pan was my favorite as a kid, for sure.
Okay.
That was my favorite as a kid because it was like, it's like the ultimate like boy movie.
Yeah.
You know, he runs away. He's like he runs a whole world. He gets into adventures. All the girls like him. It's like the seeing that as like an 8-year-old, I was like,
Life changing.
literally me. You know, you
A
know,
ladies' man.
and that he can fly too. He can fly, he can fight.
The entire
He's a cool
package.
costume. Yeah, exactly. Like, what else could you want as an 8-year-old? It's like peak existence right there. Is the Peter Pan. I would say, I really because I've studied Disney so much. I really like Bambi. I think is
I
my favorite.
love like the old animation style for sure.
Yeah, I think Bambi is my favorite. Um, because it's like I think it perfectly meshed like because at a certain point he had to balance like the business side with the artistic side.
Hmm.
Because they were losing a lot of money on projects like Fantasia. That almost made them go bankrupt, kind of thing. But I feel like Bambi's like the perfect mesh of like Disney's art side with like a conventional story, kind of
Hmm.
meshed into one. Like you could watch the movie without like appreciating it for its like amazing art. But
Yeah.
he hired like Japanese artists for that film, and yeah, he had his animators like study like different forms of like how to create realistic looking um, animals, mixed with like Japanese backgrounds, kind of thing. And it has like a different style than any of the other Disney movies. It's not as like anthropomorphized,
Yeah.
as like a lot of them, But I love like all the '90s ones too. Like those are all great, of course. When they turned Disney into more of like a musical kind of style, like those are all
Yeah.
great. Little Mermaid, Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, Mulan. Those are all great as well. So we need another great Disney movie. We need it.
Rooting.
It's
They
time.
need to bring back that old animation style.
They said they are doing it. I have a close friend who's like, we're worried about it because it's kind of like, okay, how are they gonna do it, and what stories are they gonna do? Because they did announce that they're gonna do that, the 2D, but it's like, what does that mean? Are they gonna do like, what kind of 2D? You know, cut out again, huh?
Yep.
What was the last thing? Oh,
You
yeah,
said we don't know what that means
yeah,
because,
yeah.
yeah,
We don't. Yeah, we don't know how they're gonna use it. Obviously, they're not gonna do it the way they did before, where they literally went, drawing by drawing over like the course of 4 years. Like, of course,
yeah,
they're not gonna do that. Even though that would be cool. You know, and they kind of could do that because with like how much employees they have, they technically
yeah.
could do that. if they wanted to, but they're not gonna do that.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, they're probably gonna use like some sort of tool, but yeah, we'll see where it goes. But okay, I won't keep you, so I'll end this right. Thank you for doing this, and then I'll talk to
Thank
you
you for
after.
having me. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, sorry about the sound stuff. I mean, it is what it
Sorry about
is.
the Wi-Fi thing.
You know. Yeah, it's I mean, it happens. It's
We
all
made
good.
it to the end.
We'll see how this cuts together for sure. I'm just kidding.
I hope
Yeah,
it's salvageable.
yeah, we made it.